Welcome back to the Ed Show. The Senate race in Iowa is closer than ever. The latest Quinnipiac poll has Democrat Congressman Bruce Braley trailing Tea Partier Joni Ernst by just 2 points, just 3 weeks out from Election Day. Ernst is supportive of the Koch brothers and does not believe in a federal minimum wage. She has said she's opposed to the tax credits, which have provided thousands of green energy jobs to Iowa workers. Ernst wants to get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency. Ernst, who highlights her roots as a farmer's daughter, said that she would have voted against the Farm Bill's Clean Water Act. It raises questions. What motivates people to vote against their own self-interests? I went to Newton, Iowa last week and talked to folks about why they were siding with Ernst.
So you say you voted. Who'd you vote for?
I voted the Republican Party this time.
Okay, this time you voted for Democrats in the past?
I have. Yeah.
What pushed you to the Republicans in the middle of the country this time?
Well, because Harry Reid is the guy I dislike the most.
What do you think of all the filibusters that the Republicans have had in the Senate? And when you hear the word obstruction, what's your response to that?
Well, it can be kind of a waste of time and money, and I'm not sure.
What filibuster are you talking about?
No, the one.
Well, there's a record number of filibusters. In other words, the Senate has been stopped by the minority party on everything that they have tried to pass. A record number of filibusters.
That's the problem. They don't vote on anything. It's Harry Reid does not let it come to the floor. So they've never passed a budget, what, in 5 years in the Senate? Now, how can you do that? How can you run a government without a budget?
Joining me tonight on our rapid response panel, Brad Woodhouse, former Democratic Party Communications Director, and Harold Cook, Democratic strategist from Texas. Gentlemen, good to have you with us tonight.
Thanks, Ed.
It's tough to go to the middle of the country sometimes and listen to people who simply don't know what the hell is going on. Brad, where's the disconnect here when it comes to issues that are vital to people's lives, and yet they vote against their own best interests? Your take on this?
Well, I mean, look, Ed, I think it's often a head scratcher. I mean, take the issue of seniors. I mean, so many seniors will vote with Republicans who want to voucherize their Medicare, privatize or eliminate their Social Security. Seniors went out to these kind of Koch brothers and insurance industry rallies against the Affordable Care Act saying, you know, hands off my health care when they're on Medicare. So I think part of the problem is the polarization. Part of it is, you know, people only get their information from certain sources, either in the media or on the internet. And it's really hard. It's hard to break through. But, you know, that's why we got to keep plugging away. That's why Bruce Braley's plugging away in Iowa. And I think that's why he's making progress in the recent polls.
You know, in politics, certain issues and people get targeted. Harry Reid has been targeted. Harold Cook, break it down for us. It reached one couple.
Yeah, no, I think in general there are sometimes three things going on when people seem to vote against their self-interest. Thing number one, I think Republicans are frankly better than Democrats sometimes at staying up at that 30,000-foot kind of value statement level when a lot of voters won't even be aware that they're stabbing themselves in the back. A good example, it's not a rare Republican that'll walk around and say, oh, I'm in favor of the free market to grow the economy. Well, that statement doesn't sound half bad to some people, even minimum wage workers, but they may be unaware what that probably means is that that candidate will not be supporting worker protections in case you get hurt or killed on the job, and they probably will not be supporting a raise in the minimum wage and may not believe in the minimum wage at all. That's thing number one. Thing number two, I've seen it here a lot in Texas. Republicans, I hate to say it, they'll just lie. We've got Republican candidates running all over the state of Texas right now convincing voters that public education is their highest priority. These are the same Republicans who voted in the state legislature to cut $5.5 billion from the education budget, and they crowded classrooms and they laid off teachers. So, I mean, they will just lie. But then we ought to be very careful about talking to this, that we don't disrespect voters, because a lot of times what we believe should be you know, logically, in a voter's best self-interest is not what the voter himself believes is in his best interest. They may be distracted by a lot of things, and the Republicans have been very good at it, especially when it comes to their partnership with the religious right.
Brad Woodhouse, is minimum wage an issue that's going to drive people?
Well, I do. I think it's helped in Iowa to a great extent, and I think it's not just the minimum. It's not just the minimum wage. It's really it's the issues around the minimum wage.
Gentlemen, I got to interrupt you. We've just got this President Obama tape in, speaking with pool reporters at the White House about Ebola. Here it is.